If there was ever a Disney film that wanted me to get up and go be active and go to the gym every day, it would be this one. Hercules, Hercules! This is actually the first Disney animated film that hit theaters while I was actually alive, walking the face of the earth as a 6-month-old little baby boy. Yeah, Hunchback of Notre Dame released a month before I was born. This came out in the summer of 1997, and we're gonna talk about it here on its 25th anniversary. Oh, now I feel old again. This film was directed by the same team who brought you some of the greatest hits of the Disney Renaissance, like The Little Mermaid and Aladdin. And Disney is of course tackling Greek mythology with this feature. Hercules is the son of the gods who was snatched as a baby by the evil Hades, voiced by James Woods, and Hercules is forced to live among mortals as half man, half god. And Hercules grows up into a doofus teenager with brute strength, and he needs to perform a rite of passage on Earth to prove himself worthy of living amongst the gods on Mount Olympus. And along with his plucky trainer, satyr sidekick, whatever he is, voiced by Danny DeVito, just like Superman, Hercules must learn how to use his strength to defeat a series of evil creatures. So Hercules isn't necessarily a movie I was raised on when it comes to Disney animated features. I must have been much later on in my early adolescence when I first saw Hercules, and I remember having fun with it the first time around. And after going through a rewatch and sitting here today thinking about this film, it is very much a mixed bag. But that doesn't mean it's still damn fun. I mean, call this a hot take all you want. I love how they're presenting Greek mythology in this. It's presented like this big Las Vegas spectacle. The musical score by Alan Menken hits the nail right on the head. And guys, this is my personal favorite composer. I love Alan Menken to pieces. This is not my personal favorite score of his. It's not as memorable as your Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast and so forth. But that doesn't mean there's still a couple of damn good songs in here. Zero to Hero springs to mind as one of my personal favorites. And I'm not gonna lie, I have used I Can Go the Distance for a couple of auditions here and there. But I think what really makes this movie work for me isn't just the music and the gorgeous animation. I really love the color contrast between good and evil in here. I've never seen Greek gods portrayed this colorful ever, and I haven't seen it done since. It's just such a unique artistic style and presentation that Hercules provides us with this animation. And call me crazy, but I think this is the first time Disney Animation Studios attempted some three-dimensional characters. Yes, some of these monsters Hercules are fighting feel very much out of the 90s, and it doesn't really look as fluid along with a bunch of the classic 2D animation that we're all used to. But I think for 1997, this still looks really solid, and the action sequences in this film, Hercules actually fighting these big, gigantic, snake-like creatures, it's really fun. But above all else, what makes Hercules work for me are these characters. Particularly our villain, Hades, voiced by James Woods, who is so funny. We kiss, we dance, we smooch, we lose, we carry on, what do you say? Come on. He's not really like all the other Disney Renaissance villains that we've gotten. He's not as over the top as Ursula, even though he'll have his bursts of anger. He's certainly not arrogant or narcissistic like a Gaston. He actually comes off more like a slimy businessman or a car dealership owner. The way he delivers these lines is just so calm, cool, and collected. And the fact that he's not just going totally berserk on you and he's trying to just coerce you into a business deal, that makes him even more untrustworthy and even more demented. I think Hades personally, and the character design as well, with his hair being just blue fire, it leads to some really funny jokes along with that I completely forgot about. But with all that said, I do think that Hades is one of the most underrated Disney villains that's out there. James Woods is a freaking gem in this feature. I also love that our love interest is kind of on the dark side. Megara is a really interesting character. And this script is very wise to present her not just as a damsel in distress, but it kind of flies in the face of that. Hercules goes off to save the damsel in distress, and she literally says, "I'm a damsel, I'm in distress, what else is there to talk about?" I think Megara is the perfect contrast and love interest for our title character here. And honestly, this is where the film starts to get into mixed bag territory for me, because even though Tate Donovan does a great job as Hercules, The character himself isn't really all that interesting. We've seen this doofus before in other feature films like this. Even Danny DeVito in this film as the trainer, he's doing some great work in here. But this connection is literally just Rocky and Mickey. I feel like if you put Bill Conti's iconic Rocky theme song over that training montage, it's pretty much interchangeable. Hercules in general feels very much derivative to a lot of other classic films, like a Rocky or like a Superman even. Like, if you merged both of those basic plots together, you get Hercules. And that's what I think really holds this film back for me, is just the fact that a lot of it feels very much same old, same old. Not that Hercules is a bad movie because of this, because I think the message of this movie is actually really inspiring to a lot of people like myself who aren't athletically gifted by any stretch. Being a hero doesn't necessarily mean you have to have all the muscles in the world, but it's all about the size of your heart. It's presented in a very, very clever way, and I honestly think if you haven't seen Hercules in a while, or if you just weren't all that into it the first time around, I recommend you give it another shot, because I think you'll end up liking it more on a rewatch like I have. The Alan Menken score, once again, is fantastic. The songs are a lot of fun. Feels right out of Little Shop of Horrors, actually. The gospel truth, Zero to Hero. It really does make you want to see a stage version of Hercules, and I know there's one in development right now. I don't think it's gotten the wide Broadway release at this time, but I, for one, would love to see this done on the stage. I think you can do a lot of really cool things with it. But what it all boils down to is this. Hercules, unfortunately, is very much a mixed bag on a rewatch. It does very much feel like a Superman movie or a Rocky movie, all with the Disney flavor. And I don't know, this is the same team that brought us Aladdin 5 years before this, and that was lightning in a bottle. Aladdin is one of my personal favorite Disney movies, just behind Beauty and the Beast. And stay tuned, because I will be reviewing Aladdin later this year, and I cannot wait to do so. But with Hercules, it really makes you feel like they were trying to make lightning strike twice here. Because this is Greek mythology. This isn't material that's supposed to be presented like this. But heck, you gotta give them credit for throwing every idea they possibly could at it. But it just feels too similar to some other favorite movies that I have for my personal enjoyment. But honestly, again, this is not to say that Hercules is a bad film by any stretch of the imagination. I do still think, because it's Disney, it's bound to be very, very strong. I'm gonna give Hercules a B+. If you thought I was gonna give this movie a 0, there's no way in heck I was going to be able to do that. Because again, this movie is just too darn fun. I don't know if I'd put it on the heroic scale of Disney films. It's certainly not in the upper echelon to me. But heck, if you haven't seen this movie in a while, give it a chance. And if you guys have seen Hercules recently, or if you have nostalgic memories of Hercules from your childhood, feel free to share those down in the comments section below. Honestly, I love sitting here making these videos for you guys, discussing all things geeky, all brand new things in the movie world and the entertainment realm. So if these sound like topics you're interested in discussing along with me, do consider smashing that subscribe button as hard as you possibly can, along with that notification bell right next to it. And don't forget to smash that like button on your way out if you enjoyed what you saw today, and if you want to see more from me in the future. Because I gotta tell you, it's not a very busy week at the movie theaters here, basically, with nothing coming out until Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness hits. And I cannot wait to talk about that, and I also can't wait to finish up Moon Knight next week. A couple of very exciting entries into the Marvel playlist on my channel. And guys, as I said, my New Year's resolution is coming true. I wanted to talk about more Disney movies on my channel throughout the entirety of 2022. We've satisfied it with Hercules here today. And next up, sometime in the month of May, I don't have a solid date for it yet, but we're going to be celebrating the 20th anniversary of Lilo and Stitch. And I cannot wait to discuss that movie with you guys. That's one that's not discussed nearly enough here on YouTube. And of course, I'll be starting off my Jurassic Park playlist before you know it. I want to try and get Jurassic Park's review out there sometime within the next week or so. And hey, if you guys are into live streams, tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time, I will be appearing on my buddy Zack channel. We're going to be doing an updated ranking of my top 10 MCU movies on there, and he's going to be sharing his list. My buddy Luke Ponto is going to be on the stream with us. I can't wait. It should be a fun time, and feel free to join us there on Zack Milne Talks Movies. But guys, y'all are the best. Thank you all again for your continuous support of the channel. I am still continuously blown away each and every day. And with all that being said, back talk, commence.